Dr. Tim the mineral. That night, I had trouble sleeping. Grant didn't ask us to go see him at the embassy right away. Instead, he spent a day examining the body, getting in touch with headquarters, and so on. That was why we didn't meet until the following day. The wait felt endless. Early that morning, I jumped out of bed, quickly washed and combed my hair, and changed my clothes. English lightness, Indian flowers, English dress. Quickly became a schoolgirl. I'm gonna go with Indian flowers. This will make me feel my best. The body of the diplomat has been found, so the case is now closed. Killian said that finding Hayes was the most important thing, no matter what the state we found him in. I have a bad feeling, though. I doubt the task force will leave knowing that 2 British citizens were killed here. Things won't just end like this. Another question is, do I have to take part in whatever comes next, or will they let me go? My thoughts were interrupted by a timid knock at the door. To my surprise, it was my brother. Here, how come you're up so early? I thought you'd be sleeping in until noon. I'm gradually adjusting to the local time. Can we talk? What's the matter? I brought you the notes of what Grandma said, as promised, remember? Oh, of course. Sit here, next to me. My brother sat down on the bed, handing me his notebook. There were several sentences written in his sloppy teenage handwriting. Glancing at a few lines written in Bengali, I couldn't help but comment. You've made a lot of mistakes. Well, I'm sorry. No one actually taught me Bengali. Kindness of the goddess path. I wasn't taught Bengali either, but now I speak it fluently. You could do it too. After all, you already managed to understand what Grandma was saying. Why would I need to speak Bengali? I'm not going to stay here all my life. Your roots are here. It would be nice to know at least one local language. I am not into languages as much as you are, Mala. I decided not to bother my brother any longer, and I turned my attention back to the notebook. As I immersed myself in what I was reading, I saw everything as if it was happening right before my eyes. Grandma's frightened voice echoed in my mind. I paid for my fear of her. She was sitting on the floor, staring into space. Her big, dark eyes were full of despair and regret. She was whispering hesitantly, My debt to Mother is so great that neither I nor the death of my whole family could ever repay. Indira looked down. Even my descendants will pay. Annie, is everything okay? Karen didn't dare to approach her. However, he managed to write down all she was saying. Once I refused to shed blood on our land, and now blood flows like water. Our land is burned to the ground. Indira looked up at Kieran when she spoke to him. He tensed up, although he didn't understand anything. Just survive, my boy. Survive, please. Don't let your sister go through hell and back. Aaron felt afraid of her. Unfortunately, he didn't even realize that Grandma was warning him. You will be able to discuss this conversation in the future, she continued. Beware of them. They only bring evil. So the other one might have been innocence or whatever. Or kindness, excuse me. What did she say? How bad is it? Or was it all just rambling nonsense? I think it's something important, far from nonsense. So she wasn't actually out of it? My heart ached with the premonition of impending trouble. Grandma didn't seem crazy anymore. The words were actually starting to make sense. I didn't want to scare Kieran, but I want to warn him. Promise me that you won't go anywhere alone and won't do anything stupid. Why are you telling me this? What did Grandma say? I'll tell you later. Promise me first. Karen tried to take the notebook from me, but I managed to pull my hand back and hid it under my pillow. He glared at me, annoyed. I was the one who brought that to you. You can't just take it away. Fine. I promise. Now, will you tell me about it? No, I need to figure it out myself first. That's not fair! Go back to your room, please. I need to think. You've been acting so strange, jumpy, always in a filthy mood. Are your colleagues driving you crazy? Are they hard to work with? No, they have nothing to do with us. Kieran frowned and shook his head. I don't like this. Mom also became all jumpy, and shortly before she left us. Answer seriously. Don't say that. We don't know what she was going through. And you don't know what I'm going through right now either. Then tell me. Don't just keep quiet like she did. I will tell you, but not now. Now please go. Without saying anything else, he pursed his lips and left. How long am I gonna pretend that everything is fine? I'll go to the embassy, tell them that the investigation is over, and then I'm going back to London. I don't like this, and I'm more afraid for Kieran than myself. After breakfast, Priyanka struck up a conversation with me. So, your work here's done? My neighbors were telling me that another body was found in the woods. One of yours. Yes. Don't go home yet. Stay to celebrate the Durga Puja. The festivities will begin the day after tomorrow. At least you'll make some good memories in India. I don't know where my home is anymore. I'm used to my life here now. I'd love to celebrate Durga Puja. Oh, wonderful! Then stay where the puja goes on. It's such a special time. Everything will be different. You'll see nicely dressed and happy people dancing and enjoying delicious food. And so many nice men. It's all about the men. Aren't you tired of Karen? What are you saying? He's such a good boy. It's a pleasure to have him around. You both should stay a little longer, at least for another week. It will be fun for you and a real joy for us. Sounds like you're getting along. Is it possible not to get along with your brother? He has such a friendly personality, always the center of attention. He makes me laugh harder than I've ever laughed, even when I was young. Sounds like I could use her attachment to Karen to my advantage. Thinking of how many useful things Priyanka could tell me, I sighed. Yes, Kieran has also become attached to you as well. That's not something that happens often. He likes talking to you. You know, our mother left us and he misses her so much. It's almost like you took her place. You're so good with kids. He's literally been here hardly a few days, but sure. Did he say that? Warm emotions were flashing in the woman's eyes. I continued smoothly. Yes, I think we should stay here for a few more days. Really? Yes, but in order to close the case, I need help to find out one more thing. What is it? Thanks to Aryan's information, you'll be able to get Priyanka to talk. What happened in Klipagrami? Everyone in the village behaved strangely. They wouldn't even talk to me. Surely you must know something. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it, and I won't. Priyanka already refused to have this conversation once before. She kept silent last time. It made me think she'd change her mind and tell me everything now. Who killed the diplomat? Now we know for sure that he's dead. What? How should I know that? The things you ask, Amala, I don't know anything about murderers. Your question was too straightforward. I got carried away. I shouldn't have asked her directly. Who was Manny talking to at his wedding? He kept dashing off somewhere, and I'm curious to know more about his circle of friends. But why? I owe him. He helped me with some information I needed when I was working on the investigation. I want to meet his friends. Maybe someone knows more about his murder. For example, Manu might have said something strange the day before, or something like that. Of course, that's not really what interests me, but I ought to show Priyanka that my curiosity is harmless. If I find out who he was talking to, I can identify those involved in his murder. She won't answer any other question first. The woman just shrugged her shoulders nonchalantly. I'm sorry, my girl, but he didn't invite any friends to his wedding. He talked to us a little bit, and to Sana, of course, and Mr. Dubé gave his words of advice about marriage and family life. Amrit Dubé? Amrit is still not married himself. I'm talking about his father, of course. Speaking of Amrit Dubé, Amola, he's single and extremely wealthy. Stopped listening while she kept chattering on. This means Manu was talking to Devdas. Damn it. Now you know that Devdas Dubé was involved in Manu's death. I looked at the clock. It was time for me to go. Priyanka didn't keep me and went back to her chores. Grant's office smelled of coffee, as usual. It's a good smell. He was reading the medical examiner's report, holding the folder in one hand and a cup of espresso in the other. The estimated time of death is 30 to 40 days before discovery. Skin on the man's back was lacerated and had distinctive abrasions consistent with the body having been dragged. The death is believed to have been caused by a deep cut in the throat. He was beheaded posthumously. Silence fell in the office. So it's definitely him? You're sure? His hands were intact, although decomposition was already quite advanced. We managed to get fingerprints and made sure that the body belonged to Hayes. Any symbol? Gillian handed us a piece of paper. Sure, we'll go with a symbol. What's the number 4? So, Sanji from the Kleptocrami was the first, Asha Chatterjee and the boy from Varanasi were the second and third, and the diplomat was the fourth. The jewelry merchant was the fifth, Mr. Rose was the sixth and last victim. Why are they numbering them? They're probably trying to reach a certain goal. I think the killers have planned number of victims, so they are counting them. Once they've reached their goal, will they stop killing? Not necessarily. Being able to get away with murder so many times might embolden them to keep going. Technically, yes, it will embolden them to keep going, but I think it will only pertain to the ritual. This one's a tough one. I'm gonna go with agree. Yes, these people are not going to stop killing. They like it, and they're probably just hiding behind religious motives. Has anything similar ever happened in Delhi or Bombay? Why are you asking? British diplomats used to live there as observers. It may be helpful to narrow down our search and make sure that all this happened only in Calcutta. Good thinking. I'm not in contact with those branches, but I'll find out more. Lima got up from the sofa. You listen to Killian's story in detail so you know about the diplomats in other cities. It doesn't matter to us anymore. We've learned what happened to the diplomat. The investigation is over. For you, yes. But Lightwood and I have to finish what Hayes came here for. You mean gathering evidence that the agreed provisions were not respected? Yes, you know that. Make sure not to talk about this with anyone else. Gabriel ran his fingers through his hair, giving us a slightly troubled look. I still can't get the crime scene out of my head. I don't usually work with things like these. By now we've have seen quite few of those here. Now I really understand how messed up this case is. These are not just empty words in a forensic report. These are real corpses, real severed heads. Yes, it's horrible. Path of High Respect. Amala, Lima, I would really like it if you two joined us. You know perfectly well how complicated everything is here. We could really use your knowledge, Amala, and your, how do I put it, proactivity. Proactivity? You worry about me all the time. You worry that I dive headfirst into things. I actually think that's one of your best qualities. Lima, I'd be very glad if you joined us too. We have to track down the murderers, and that's your area of expertise. I don't know. I need to think about it. I'm too exhausted right now. Then the day just begin. Me too. Now, I am not deciding just for myself, but also for my brother. Fine. Let me know as soon as you decide. But please don't take too long. It feels like everything here is working against us, literally. What do you mean? The other day I stumbled upon some interesting information, and at the very moment I almost was knocked down by a man. I was eavesdropping on a conversation, and by the time I pulled myself together, the people I was listening to had vanished. I then tried to ask the locals about what I heard, but everyone just ignored me and came up with some excuses or tried to sell me something. Then, on top of that, I realized that I had been robbed. The man in the crowd probably bumped into me on purpose. But he was so beautifully and elegantly dressed, I couldn't immediately tell that he was a thief. I think I know who that was. What was their conversation about? Nothing too unusual, but what sparked my interest was that they were speaking in English. How often do locals have conversations with each other in a foreign language? It really is weird. Maybe they didn't want the people around them to understand? It could be. What were they talking about? White blinding light. I was walking along a busy street. It was getting dark. All of a sudden I heard someone speaking in English, so I stopped and listened. He's a friend of mine. He constantly drives tourists back and forth. Then why did he go all the way here, to that cursed land? He's bringing bad luck on us all. That's what I told him, and he said that those tourists paid him well. They really wanted to see where the fire happened. Oh, what to hell with them. They are asking for trouble. Hear the rest of the story first. Rakesh told me that a man was there to welcome them. A man? Where? Yes, then Rakesh took a better look and realized that they didn't look like tourists at all. Were they the ones that snooping around the British? Yes, it was them, and he brought them here himself without realizing it. Ugh, don't meet him anymore. Kapil, don't allow his sins to stain your soul. I have nothing to do with this, and I don't want to speak this foul language anymore. What the? And then I was robbed. The site of the fire, the cursed land, where were they talking about? Lipagrami? What a strange conversation. Sounds like nonsense to me. We already know that the locals get scared and refuse to talk at mention of the village. Killian airs his eyes at me. He noticed that my mind was wandering. You've got a new lead. Lima sighed. I'm tired of all these secrets and conspiracies. I need a coffee and to get back to the hotel. I'll finish the paperwork and get us a taxi. We left the office together. Poking his head out, Gabriel called out to me from the doorway. I suppose it's time for you to go too. Yes. Amala, join our investigation. We could use your help. They'll pay you very well for it. This is not about the money. What is it about then? Are you tired? Maybe you don't want to work with me? No, I like you. I don't have any issue working with you. He walked out into the corridor, leaning his shoulder against the door frame. Is it so? I'm intrigued. You are a calm and respectful person. And most importantly, you don't pressure me or make fun of me. Why would I make fun of you? Personal attacks have no place in a professional setting. You'd be surprised, but some people obviously disagree with you. He laughed softly. I can guess why. You know, Lightwood has told me so much about you that I am curious. What exactly did he tell you? About your work style, your methods are unconventional, but Lila. Maybe that's what rubs some people up the wrong way. But personally, I like it when someone isn't afraid of playing with fire to get what they want. What kind of fire are we talking about? What kind do you like to play with? Is he flirting with me? Gabriel, do I get the feeling that we are no longer talking about work? Are we not? Our conversation sounds perfectly professional to me. What's going through your mind, Amolet? He likes you. Are you having fun? Let's see if you still feel like laughing once you get to know the side of Calcutta that we've seen. I couldn't do my job properly if I were constantly on edge, worrying about what might go wrong. That's why I refuse to be afraid, even if this place is trying to intimidate me. Maybe you've got a point. To tell you the truth, I'd really like to study and understand India a little bit better, and not just spend my time looking here, or looking for a half-rotten corpse in a forest. I still want to see the streets, city center. Really? Well, in that case, I could give you a tour. I feel like I know my way around fairly well by now. I'll show you my favorite places, including a cafe where they use just the right amount of spices so everyone can handle it. That sounds useful. Alright then, let's settle. Of course, this is going to be a strict business meeting, right? You agreed to take a walk together. Absolutely. He shamelessly stared at me as if checking me out. I'll see you then. The team leader said goodbye and closed the door. I went to look for Killian and Lima. Are we heading out? Yes. I'm ready. I looked at them. The atmosphere between them felt tense and awkward. Is everything alright? Yes, there's nothing to talk about. Let's go. Killian left the cafeteria and we followed him. Killian and Lima spent too little time together, so they decided not to do— What the actual hell? That happened so quickly and abruptly. We really haven't had any— Alright, whatever. I'm moving on. We literally have tried to hook them up at every chance we possibly had. Every single diamond choice we literally selected. When I arrived home, Priyanka was waiting for me in the living room. I could tell by her strange, cheerful smile that something had happened. Kieran was sitting next to her. Oh, sis, you're back. Here? Amala, hello, honey. Honey? Now I see why you were in such a bad mood this morning. Did you already have a fight with your boyfriend? What? Don't worry. Sounds like he's ready to patch things up. He sent you something. Bianca winked at me and handed me a box. Saw a familiar card. From A to A. Wear this for me. Amrit. He has no shame. He sent this to my house. I opened the gift. Expensive jewelry set. A simple jewelry set. Expensive jewelry set. It looks expensive. Of course. The young master himself sent it. Why didn't you tell us? He's been courting you, and I've been trying to match you with just about anyone. I was talking about him this morning, too. No man in Calcutta can stand on the same level as Amrit Dubey. Kieran was watching us, and then he turned to me. Have you found a new boyfriend already? It's not what you think. I am not thinking anything. I am looking. When did you meet? When did you take a liking to each other? It had to happen, but so quickly. It had to? Well, he's a handsome man, of course, and he was at Senna's wedding. It's only natural that you would like him, and that he would like you. You're such a beautiful girl. I began to look at the jewelry in the mirror. I suddenly noticed a familiar pattern on the stones that adorned it. What is it made of? Such a beautiful stone. Oh, this one? It's anodorite, an expensive and very valuable stone. Anodorite. I'll look it up in the library. It's not the first time I've seen it. Found out the name of the mineral. This will help you piece some events together. I decided to quickly go to my bedroom. This conversation with Miss Khan was starting to get on my nerves. After all, it annoyed me when other people got involved in my personal life. She's too loud, nosy at times. I'm not her daughter. She can't tell me when and who to marry. Well, I mean, she wasn't telling you who to marry, but after changing into pajamas, I decided to go to the Khan's library. I felt most comfortable being there at night. No one would interrupt me then. I was looking for a robe to put on. I noticed something strange. The notebook I'd taken from Kieran, put under my pillow, was gone. I didn't move it. It should be here. What the hell? Where is it? I spent some time looking for it all over the room, but I never found it. It was weird, but I didn't want to spend too much time worrying about it. It's gone. It's like the book I stole. But the book went back to the Dubé's library. Where could Kieran's notebook go? My question remained unanswered. I waited until midnight, then walked to the library. I give it a 4 as well. Felt a bit weird. Independence 1, Respect 1, 2 Rage, 2 Kindness, Diamonds. Long story short, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head in the description, plenty of things to check out there, as well as ways to become a more intricate part of this community. And also, there is the Join and Thanks feature on YouTube. With that being said, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. This chapter felt, I don't know, a little weird, a little, like, all over the place, a little scattered. Might be their intention, because we're kind of, like, all over the place. And then also it felt a little short, especially with picking all the diamond choices. Also, Killian and Lima's relationship, we picked all the diamond choices, especially the most recent one where it was her and Killian walking together, right? And they were going to take Kieran home, right? And so Killian and her walked together and we're going to spend time together and everything else. And then, like, we haven't had any choices between then and now for them to go on a date or anything. And, like, it's just weird. Like, that chapter, I thought everything was great, copacetic, kosher, and then all of a sudden, out of this chapter, broadsided, and it makes no absolute sense, and I hope it's not going to affect them professionally, you know, because there's a reason why there's a rule that says no dating at the workplace, because, yeah, no, because then, you know, bickering and fights and negative workflow and the whole 9 yards can actually happen, so, yeah, no, just, I don't understand it. Maybe someone can help me understand it in the comment section, I don't know. Other than that, thanks again for watching, catch you all later, peace out.